Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And I want to shout out Jan Douglas, Mr. West, Virginia Olison, Sandra Jenkins, Rhonda Davis, Living a Leo Life, Harold's 554, and Mark Rubin. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. So, Black Americans are tired of being dragged into fights that have nothing to do with us. And lately, there's been this little trend, especially online, where Black immigrants get mad because Black Americans won't go out there in the streets and fight ICE for them. And so they say things like, y'all got all the smoke for immigrants, but none for the YT people. Or they're saying you're scared to fight the real enemy, or you only get loud when it's us. Well, I'm here to tell you that's manipulation, it's guilt tripping, it's dishonest, and it's not going to work. Black Americans have been fighting white supremacy for centuries. We fight them in the courts, we fight them in the schools, we fight them in the hospitals, we fight them in the voting booths, we fight them in the workplace, we fight them in culture, we fight them in data, we fight them in the streets when necessary. We fight white supremacy on our terms, for our lineage, and for our survival. So let's get something straight. We are not scared of white people like they are. And because we are not scared, we can live in America with white people and not run all over the place looking for a better place to live like they are. But they are the very ones who came here trying to assimilate and trying to identify with white people. And then when white people show them what time it was, then they want us to get out there and fight for them. And it's not going to work. That is just not how it works. So we are not avoiding white people. We are not protecting white people. We fight them every day, but we fight them for Black America, not for people who just got here last week, tried to assimilate with white people, even if they were illegal, even if they were here as refugees or asylum seekers or on TPS status. And then when the white folks said it was time for them to go home, then they want us to get out there and fight for them. So this is how one Black American decided to respond to them.
Don't throw up white tea in my face. You could never throw white folks up in my face. When it was during the civil rights, there was white people out there dying for our civil rights. Don't you ever forget that. None of you or your parents or your grandparents shed any blood, sweat, or tears for Black Americans to get civil rights on this soil like some of my good white folks did. You will never come before my good white folks. Never. So listen to me clearly. None of you Black immigrants will never come before my good white folks of America. Ever. And you could say, oh, but there's many that's racist. And so are you. So what's the difference?
Well, she made herself clear, and she lives in New York City. So she interacts with Black immigrants on a daily basis. And this is how she decided to respond to somebody who had left something on her page about fighting white supremacy because of ICE, because they don't want to be deported. So that's what she had to say about it. And that's all I got to say. ICE is an immigration enforcement agency. That is not a Black American issue. That is not tied to our generational struggle. Black Americans are dealing with police brutality, mass incarceration, voter suppression, housing discrimination, employment discrimination, medical racism, educational inequality, generational wealth theft, anti-Blackness in every institution. So we have our own battles, and they are already heavy enough. We don't need anybody adding extra weight to our shoulders. So when Black immigrants say, come fight ICE for us, what they're really saying is, come be the face of our fight. Come take the hits. Come take the backlash. Come be the moral mule of America again. And the answer to that is no. Enough black immigrants have mocked black Americans, called us lazy, said we don't work hard, said we don't value education, said we're jealous, said they made it because they are superior. They have tried to erase our history. They have tried to rewrite our struggle and claim our culture. And you think we're going to get out on the streets and take a hit for you? You got another thought coming. Everybody wants to use black Americans because they have seen our soft spot. We have been too nice. We have been too caring of other people's plight. We have been compassionate, and we have been able to see other people's weakness or struggle or pain through our own. And so we have been willing to help. But this country now has a pattern. Every time another group wants something, they run to black Americans to be the battering ram. They want our numbers. They want our political weight. They want our moral authority, our visibility, our courage, and most of all, they want us to sacrifice for them because, again, we have been too nice. They don't want our experience. They don't want to assimilate with us. They don't want to associate with us, but they want us to get out there and fight for them. So instead of seeing our compassion, they see us as somebody to be used and then mocked. So now we have a generation of black people who say, this is the line. This is as far as we go, and we are not crossing your line, and you're not crossing ours. So this is an APB, an all points bulletin for anybody who needs to hear it. Black Americans fight for our lineage, not your agenda. And here's the boundary. Black Americans are not your foot soldiers. We're not your political tools. We're not your shield. We're not your PR team. We are not your frontline fighters for battles that don't belong to us. And the fight with ICE is not our fight. We fight for our ancestors, our children, our communities, our future, and our lineage. If you want someone to fight ICE yourself. Black Americans have carried this country on our backs for long enough. We have fought every battle, opened every door, and paid every cost. We are done being used, and we are done being guilt-tripped, and we are also done being manipulated. We fight white supremacy. We don't fight white people. We fight white supremacy. But we fight it for black Americans, not for people who don't even respect us. So if you want to fight, go fight your fight, and we'll fight ours. And as far as white Americans are concerned, we have to always keep this in mind. We had to survive here with these white people, and it has not been easy, but we have stood on business with them, and we have carved a place for ourselves in this country where we can at least stay here and not have to be running all over the world looking for somewhere to live. Now, these people who won't stay in their own homelands, and there are people in all of those African countries and Caribbean countries who are staying in their countries and trying to make their countries better instead of running all over the place and then wanting somebody else to secure their position in that place, even though they don't see the need to respect those people. So as far as white Americans and black Americans are concerned, whatever problems we have in this country is between black Americans and white Americans. It is not between black Americans and black immigrants. So if you want to fight, you fight white Americans. You fight for your right to be here if you think you have a right to be here, even though some of you are here illegally. And then some of you are here on TPS status and pretend you don't know what the T in TPS means. It means temporary. But anyway, y'all, have a good day.